Yeah, my name is Matthew Mazzata. I'm an artist. I travel to different communities and make work in public spaces. I want to show you about this project called Open House and tell you a little bit about the story about how I made it. I got about a 5-minute video and then I'll show some slides about how it came together.
Willie Cook.
Open House is a unique event space. It is a collaboration with the people of York, Alabama to transform a blighted property in York's downtown into a new public art project that has the shape of a house but can physically transform into a 100-seat open-air theater free for the public. In January 2011, artist Matthew Mazzata was invited by the Coleman Center for the Arts to organize an artwork with the people of York, Alabama. The Coleman Center is a contemporary arts organization that uses art to foster positive social change and has been bringing creativity and support to the people of York since its founding in 1985. During his initial visit to York, the artist asked people from the community to bring something from their living rooms so that they could recreate a living room outdoors in the middle of the street as a way to provoke discussion about what were on people's minds and to generate ideas about what direction they might go in. From the discussions in this outdoor living room, they identified that York really had a lack of public spaces that are truly open to everyone, and as they listened to each other's stories and experiences of York, this became a common thread. They also identified that the many abandoned houses all over the downtown have been bringing down the look and feel of York for years. From this conversation, they developed a project that uses the materials of an abandoned house, as well as the land it sits on, to build a smaller house on the footprint of the old house. However, this new house has a secret. It physically transforms from the shape of a house into an open-air theater that sees 100 people by having its walls and roof fold down. It's called Open House. Open House lives mostly in the form of a house between the main grocery store and the post office, reminding people what was there before. But it opens up when the community wants to enjoy shows, plays, movies, and any other event people can think of that supports community life in York. And when the theater is folded back up into the shape of a house, the property is a public park for anyone to enjoy. In the summer of 2012, Matthew and his team began creating models of the folding structure and organized the dismantling of the abandoned house. They gathered as much of the usable materials as possible from the abandoned house before the fire department and the city did a controlled burn of the house and cleared the property of the remaining debris. They began building the structure of Open House by marrying new materials with materials gathered from the abandoned house, as well as railroad track ties from the town's train yard. A year later, the people of York and the surrounding areas joined for the inauguration of Open House, which included a ribbon cutting by the mayor, an invocation prayer to bless the space by a local minister, gospel singers, music from the local R&B band Time Zone, and a screening of Dr. Zeus's The Lorax.
I totally did. Happy birthday.
Open House directly addresses the lack of public space in York, Alabama, by using the concept of transformation to turn an abandoned building into a new community space. It provides opportunities for people to come together for years to come.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see what we can do. This project, I was invited by an arts organization that was already in York, Alabama. It's been there for about 30 years. It's a town of 2,000 people, very small. So they invited me and I said, what would you like me to do? And they said, let's just start a conversation. And so my idea, just to start it off, was to do this living room scene. I just asked everybody from the community, bring something from your living room. Let's put a living room together in the middle of the street, kind of to get people out of their own mindsets. You know, let's not do something so strategic. Let's try to get more wild. Let's put this in the middle of the street, see what can come of it. What happens, though, when you ask people, you say, listen, I'm an artist. Let's write some grants. Let's do some things. What can we do? They say, okay, you know, I asked, what can I do? And they said, can you make us a painting? I'm not a painter, so I was like, I can't do this. I said, let's change this conversation. Where do you guys hang out? And everybody said, I hang out in my church on the weekends, and I hang out in my church. I said, where's a place you guys come together? And there was really no consensus on this. I'm like, wow, this is really tough. Where are people hanging out? And the answer was, we don't have a space. And that was kind of concerning to me. Anyways, I asked people, I heard people talking about fishing. And I said, so where do you guys go fishing? And everybody's very quiet. And I realized that's their private fishing spots, you know, so they're not going to talk about this. How do we break this? And I thought, you know what, we need to create a space for this connection between people. So this project became about this. The second thing was someone offered me a church. They said, do you want this church? I said, sure. And then they said, do you really want that church? I said, okay, I'll take the church. And they said, well, you can take it, but you got to start paying taxes on it right now. And I was like, okay, I don't want this church. But it made me think, why is real estate so cheap here? And I started realizing all the abandoned buildings in this town. So need a public space, the resource will be the abandoned house. So we started. This one was particularly located in between the grocery store, the main grocery store, and the post office. So this is the most public of all the houses. This house was owned by these three ladies who wanted to start a kind of like a daycare thing. Anyways, their hopes had fallen apart literally as well. And so we asked them, we said, can we come in and make this the site of our project? And so we did. So we started tearing it apart. The city was very good for us, and they said, we can help you. So we did a controlled burn, which is that system they use down there. That wasn't more environmental in some of my projects. So this was just the way it was done down there. So we did it, and we cleared the lot. We took as many usable materials as we could from the location first, though. So we have a big pile of stuff. This is after the whole burn. This is James. He helped us a lot. And then we ended up with open house. And you guys saw the first day. So people ask me, what happens with open house now? And the reason I felt as an artist I could do this ethically was that I'm an artist that is not from this community. This is different from what you guys are going to be doing, but for me, I thought, if I leave here, who's going to take care of this thing? And that's why the Coleman Center, which was the arts organization, they had to be part of this thing. So they program it all, they do all kinds of different shows. They showed, the first one was like music or whatever, the next one they showed movies, and this particular one they showed a Hollywood movie, but before they showed Andy Warhol eats a hamburger. I'm an artist, I don't know how many people are artists in this room. This is particularly nice for me. I grew up in a very small town in northern New York, and not a lot of culture besides culture with the big C, you know, it was more just our local culture. And so our art teacher showed us a video of Andy Warhol in the warehouse, and that's Drive or, Velvet Underground playing music. And to me, this was just shocking. I think it maybe provoked me to be an artist. So after I left this project, this was a movie. Andy Warhol Eats a Hamburger, and they sold hamburgers and chips at this event. So for me, it was just a nice little come around. And they show E.T. and stuff like this. And yeah, recently they just had another one. The Butler was played there. So it goes on and on. I'm not sure if you can read this. I asked, the mayor of York was involved in these original meetings with the living room, and she really liked this project. And when we had the original opening of the whole thing, she turned to me, she goes, "This is fantastic, we need to have a town meeting with this." So I wrote her recently, I said, Gina, did you have that town meeting? She said, yeah, we did. And for me, this was a moment where I realized, wow, we're really changing the relationships in this city, or in this town. They're having, this whole project is making a platform for people to come together, to sit together. And in this way, public space is political. People can sit together, they can drink together, they can talk together. And if you don't have this kind of location, if everything's just commercial, then you can't do it. So this was really important to have this kind of space. But now she's actually taking one step further and having a town hall meeting. And so people are actually sitting in an abandoned house and having a meeting about their town with a fresh perspective, different types of energy, a whole new kind of scenario of conversation. So this project is really about trying to make a platform for a conversation to happen that usually wouldn't happen. I don't know if I'll totally get into this all the way. I'm an artist, and not everybody in here is. The way I strategize my work, I often think about my work as fruit. Fruit is shiny, it smells good, it's attractive, sweet. But a plant doesn't make fruit for this reason. It makes it because of the seed. It wants to attract animals to eat it. And it's about, the seeds are knowledge, and it's about the dissemination of knowledge. So a lot of my work is about bringing people into a situation so they can have some kind of conversation, so they can bring that back to their communities or their houses so they can kind of feed each other. So it's really about this kind of strategy. This is just a quote I like, and it kind of helps me think about making work that is more political. It's hard, so many people are activists, and it's about building up two sides. And I think about, my work is more about this third space. And Rumi says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. It's an unscripted field. It's a place where people aren't putting their baggage and being scared to talk to each other. So I usually use this whimsical spectacle of my work to bring people into a situation that they don't know how to act in. They're not rehearsed in this situation. I think that's the end of what I want to say.